Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, now you are now in tune with the greatest podcast known to man. It is arguably the greatest podcast ever invented. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't, but technically you can't prove that it ain't, so it is. I am the Sunshine Scooter himself, the man, the myth. I can't take that title tonight because of who we got on. I'm just good on me, man. I'm C Turner tonight. That's all I am. And my right hand man on my left hand side, the health conscious, if you notice what he's drinking right now, the West Coaster, the Bay Area himself, Mr. Six, Mr. Saturday Night Live, Mr. Just if my hand goes up, 6 points go up. James Madison, Big Game Walton the third. What's going on, baby?
Hey, what's good, America? Hey, we back. You know what I'm saying? We got W's for Wakanda. We got W's for 18 natties there. Right there in that corner, man. And this is the W. Hey, this is the WWs. This guest we got here, I mean, this is my get, but he's connected to this show in more ways than one. I've been a fan of this guy for a long, long time. I've been watching this dude play football since he was 18 years old and been a fan, like I said, since. And we've always been on the other side going at each other. To me, I think he's just one of the best to ever put on a pair of cleats, put on a pair of indoor shoes. Great family man as well. Just a guy to me, I just think he does everything right. And it's an honor to have him and bring his perspective to this show. And for me, just to have some backup. I know they don't have backup on this show, America. But not only is this guy D2 all the way through, but he's a Midwestern like me. You see Matrix there in the name box. That's James McNair III. What's going on, baby? Welcome to the show, man.
Yo, what's good? What's good? Appreciate you having me, man. Both of y'all. I look up to y'all in more ways than you know, so I appreciate the opportunity. It's crazy. Crazy to even be here.
Let me just go on wax and say this. Let me get the ignorant started already. Out of all quarterbacks during our era, this is the main one I hate. Like to the core of my soul, I hate this man because he is the only one that got away. Like I got sacks or picks on everybody from that area. Not this one. And it wasn't like his O-line was that great. It wasn't like he just had a terrific surrounding cast around him. I could not get my hands on this man. Out of 4 times, I don't have not one sack on him, like not a half sack, not a tackle for loss, nothing. So this man, from the bottom of my heart, I have a disdain for, and it hurts my soul a little bit. I just want to get that out.
I mean, did you know that when y'all were playing together? Matrix, did he tell you that? I mean, like, I'm intrigued by this because y'all actually won a playoff game together. So
we did.
I know what game you won, you assholes.
let me just say, one, I didn't know that stat he just threw out. But to answer your question directly, I did know. You could tell, like when you look at somebody, you can tell that they really don't like you. Even when we were teammates, like I could barely even get a sentence out before he could say something to cut me off or tell me to shut up. Or I'm like, hold up, man, we teammates now.
Don't matter.
So yes, to answer your question, yeah, I knew that. Even when you hit me up, invited me on the show, I thought to myself, man, what is CT gonna say? You know.
Hey, you know that with Chris, it's most likely not. It's going to be flagrant truth when it comes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, since I've these last 30 days, I've decided to abstain before I take my wonderful birthday week where I just go nuts, which is basically the tournament. I just don't care again after that for a while. I've been able to stay under control a little bit, James. So you know, it's probably been the best shows I've probably done. I've probably been the most coherent probably in the last couple of weeks. But there's a couple things. What really prompted me to bring in the show is I think, are you the class of 02 too, high school?
I am the class of 01.
Oh, he with y'all.
Really?
Yeah,
Class
he with
of
you.
01.
So he's with me. Okay,
Yeah.
so you ended up redshirting that.
Yep.
Okay.
The class of 01. I redshirted
Okay.
with my
Man,
first
so
year in college.
I'm always learning something new about you, man. I always thought you played as a true. I didn't know that you took the normal route that a lot of us have to do. Not all of us, graduate in 2002. We're a top 100 player in the country, and then we make the All-American team at Florida State. Like, that's what prompted me, because when he was like, "Hey," I was like, me and our buddy Dallas Leslie, good friend of ours, was on the show, and Dallas was a stud guard in the NAIA, one of the best shooters I've ever seen. So I always mess with Chris because he always shits on me for being a Truman State guy, which is not even really a thing. Like, it's just, I went to school there. Let's just call it what it is.
The Truman State.
I mean, I love my alma mater, but it doesn't hold a whole lot of weight, even with James in the room. But so he went on the record and he was like, I was an All-American, freshman All-American. I was voted to that. I said, in 03, right? He was like, yep, that fall of 02, basically the 03 year. I said, well, it's funny. I got a guy that I know that was the freshman of the year, all divisions. So you can take that and suck it, because D2 will always find a way. America, when I talk about that year, this was the year of Maurice Clarett, who was the best story in all of college sports that year.
Good and bad. He was phenomenal.
There was not too many, as we've seen with Ohio State now. They've started to churn them out since him, out of that backfield. But he had one of those seasons. And of course, when you beat the last of the great Miami teams in the national championship. But this guy that's with us, America, was voted above Maurice Clarett, freshman of the year. And it takes a guy like me, because James is as humble as it gets. But when I tell you I was a fan of this dude, I was like, who is this James McNair dude up here in Concordia? Like, where is Concordia? I didn't even know where that was. It's like he was like, my coach is going where? Where is my head coach going? What job is he taking? He's leaving this. We just won. We just won a conference championship, and he's gonna leave for them dudes? Yeah. I bet James is like, hey, where is this Kirksville at? Where are they trying to drag me to?
That was a part of the conversation. That was definitely a part of the conversation. I was just talking with my wife about that the other day, because I had just met her, won a conference championship that fall. That was my redshirt sophomore year. And man, I just, no. Yeah. Redshirt sophomore year. So yeah, it was crazy. We won a conference championship. They didn't get the package and the support and the financial support from a coaching staff and football program perspective. So they had to make some executive decisions, and they made some moves. And, something that a young kid like myself doesn't understand. I was emailing head coaches all over the place. Like, look, I was an All-American, all conference. And still, even then, coaches were like, oh no, we good. So anyway, we don't even have to get off into all of that, but yeah, it was crazy how all that came about.
Dude, let me give you your credit from a professional standpoint. So, who did we play before we played Omaha?
You talking about in 09?
09.
Okay, I can tell you exactly how it went. We beat the brakes off Sioux City.
Yep.
I played like shit versus Colorado, but we won. Everybody plays like shit in that building. I don't know.
Very true.
I got to give them credit. It was the weirdest home advantage I ever saw. Like, they had no fans.
Nope.
But you always struggled to get a win in that damn building. So I give them credit for that.
And then, you always struggled to get wind. You couldn't catch your breath. That was the problem in Colorado.
And I mean, we were 4,000 plus feet. And I mean, you go to Colorado and you were like, okay. So we were 2-0. Then we played them at home. We beat them by double digits. Then we played Fairbanks and beat the shit out of Fairbanks. That was.
That's what happened. Okay, now I got you.
Then we came down to Omaha And it was a wake-up call because them boys was hot.
So it came to undefeated, riding high. Like we are legitimately as a defense, and I want to speak on the offense. As a defense, we are physically hurting people. Like you're not getting over 20 yards rushing, you're not getting over 14 points. Like we are hurting people.
Yeah, I can do that. Let me help you with the math just to give you more credit. So I think I remember the totals on close. I think Sioux City, y'all gave up 12. We scored 81.
Yep.
I think Colorado got 33, which is still not a lot of points.
No, not in arena football. It's arena.
That was my fault. We only scored 40. I played like shit in that game. I think I actually got fined too for going out. Anyway, and then we played them. We gave up 30 to them, but we actually gave up. That's a good team that we
That's
held.
a legit 30, yeah.
That's a team that's actually 55. We held them 30. And then you got the 3-ball. So, like, if you add that up, that's like 70 some odd points divided by 4 games. That's like what the defense was averaging, James. Like that. You give up just under 80 points in arena football over 4 games. So they were giving up 20 a game. That's nuts.
So we come down to Omaha, riding high. We just beat the crap out of arguably one of what was told us one of the better offenses in the league because of the quarterback and the receivers they had. Beat the crap out of them at their home. Okay. Go into Omaha. A couple of us went out the night before. I won't say any names. I won't point any fingers. I won't say it's the other host on this show. But people went out in Omaha.
Actually, I did not go out in Omaha.
Well, I did. So
there you go. Because it wasn't me.
I was in fedoras deep, baby. Anyway. So people went out because nobody took this team seriously. Okay, so Jay, speak to me the mindset that y'all had, because like I said, we were hurt, like literally hurting people game by game. And like by halftime, Walt's pads were off. He was done for the game. By halftime, I'm trying to play receiver or play safety because the game's that far out of control. What was you guys' mindset coming into that game to play us, I guess, like for the second time in less than a month?
Yeah, well, let me just rewind like 3 years, because my first arena experience was I played for Tri-Cities Fever. And so I remember getting throttled.
Oh, we lost him.
Dude.
Hey, James, we can't hear you.
Can't hear me at all?
Say something else.
Hello?
Damn it.
Can you hear me? You got me?
Turn the Zoom up. See if we can hear you on that.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got me on?
Yeah.
All right, we'll just finish up the Zoom. We'll come back to that. That happens sometimes. Okay. It's all good. But yeah, go ahead. Start over.
Yeah, I just got a phone call, so that's probably
what it was.
Yep.
It's all good. But go ahead though.
Yes. Yeah. So what I was saying is, rewind 3 years. I played with Tri-Cities Fever, and we got throttled by Billings. I mean, it wasn't even pretty. So I had a conversation with my guys coming into the game versus you that week, and we were just like, look, we've already had an opportunity to go up against these guys. The first, I think it was the first game of the year. You know, we went out to y'all's house, and then y'all had the opportunity to come out to our house, and we were just like, hey, look, we don't lose at home, and right now this is a great opportunity for us to really showcase, you know, our abilities, and maybe we beat you all that first week. Anyway, we were hot, you know what I mean, and our mindset was to really I don't know, try to throw Chris's rhythm off was the biggest thing. And from a defensive perspective, y'all was stacked. So we were trying to just do our best to utilize our athletes, to gain an advantage. O-line had a chip on their shoulders, but just to not let them let y'all get any pressure. And I just was, sometimes you just have that feeling before a game where you just want to get, that you're going to have a good game. And every time we played against y'all, warm-ups was kind of the thing for me. I kind of did a what you call it, a Michael Jordan, to where I used some of that fuel because I heard it. Chris is always in my ear. We make our little loop. Chris is in my ear. And so it just was a thing where it was the battle of the Titans, and we just had to show at that point that we were the bigger team or better team. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like I said, I completely salute you. And and I've said this before, the quarterbacks of that era, don't get me wrong, we had a bunch of good ones. Dixie, Lillard, there was a bunch of good quarterbacks now.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect for you in whatsoever, but in my book, it's Dixon, then it's you. And because when I came in, I heard a lot of stuff about Terrence Bryant and everything in Sioux Falls. We played Sioux Falls, I didn't see it. And maybe it was the fact that I was coming down from A1, all this other stuff, and he was built like an A1 quarterback, but he didn't show, and maybe because I caught him at the tail end of his career, but I didn't see it with Terrence Bryant. With Dixie, I definitely didn't see it. It was like me playing quarterback back there. It was he couldn't move. He was a target all game. With Lillard, his height was the biggest problem, and his team wasn't that good. So
yeah.
Bunch of quarterbacks in that time, but I will give Dixon a nod at being 1A because, God, I never want to say this shit now. I hope he doesn't watch this episode, but he is the Tom Brady of that time because he has the rings, he has the hardware for it, but closely behind him, and I hate to use the term athlete quarterback because that's code in some people's circle for saying a black quarterback, but you did it. You were it. As a leader, as a quarterback, as an athlete, you did it. So I would definitely give you your credit and salute you and give you flowers for you on that one.
Man, bro, hey, I appreciate that because you definitely wasn't giving it to me 10 years ago. But no, I mean, I didn't really play the game to get people's nods. I really like to shut people up because I wasn't a guy to talk, And like you said, you came down from A1. I remember we played several games where guys were coming down from NFL rosters, and they were just they see me in warm-ups, and they come to the 50-yard line and just stand there and look at me, and they knew that's my spot when we're kicking field goal to get ready to go in the locker room. So I didn't let them phase me, but I go back to my spot and I'm just watching, waiting until we're done kicking. And they're just in my ear, chirp, 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 chirp. Oh, man, we can't wait, blah, 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 blah. And so I fed off that. That was my MJ catalyst, just feed and go make some things happen. But all due respect to Chris and Terrence, those are the guys that, I pay the most homage to. I look up to them like no other. When I referred to playing at Tri-Cities, playing against Billings, Chris was the quarterback. And that's when we befriended each other. We exchanged numbers that first time we played against each other. And he just was he wanted me to kind of hone in on a few different things. And me, I'm stubborn enough to say, hey, look, man, that may be your success, where you find your success. I'm going to steal a little bit of that, but that's not going to be me all the way. You know what I mean? So I'm just stubborn enough to just win and compete the way that I want to compete. And so, no, I truly appreciate you saying that, bro, because, I don't know. I was just playing to make a few highlights, win some games, and make a little money. So, you know, I'm glad to be mentioned in the realm of the greats. So appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that, J Mac. Like that comes with a given when it comes to you. I think a lot of things that I say to James, privately, I'm gonna try to sum up in 7.5 minutes or so, because I know James has got a topic I want to definitely get to. It's a good one for us. But like I was saying at the beginning of his intro, like we've known each other since we were 19, 20 years old. We've been linked, same coaching staffs in college. And James, I was actually telling this story, and it came out. I don't know, was it the last show we were doing, Chris? I don't know. Maybe it was with Bays. We were talking about All-Star games. And I started actually breaking down what happened in 2008 a little bit more, basically the James Walton sweepstakes. And James knew this because I called him. I said, I want to come play with you. Like I had told him, and this had been like, it always became this story of me and James always being a year away or not ever getting to play with each other one time. And our football careers really kind of mirrored each other because it happened in college. He did the right thing by his family. Every time, this is the truth, America. I feel bad, but every year on his birthday, I do tell him at some point, luckily I love me some Kristen McNair, so I don't ever go too far. Just shout out to Mama McNair and how she holds it down for the whole McNair family. But I'm like, man, I couldn't have borrowed him for 2005. I just needed him one season. That was it. I would have took one season. 1 year. Chris, that's all I needed him was for 1 year. I mean, junior year was all good. We figured it out with Jake. But my senior, man, I needed you. I needed you bad. I was like, man, if you could just come on the spot, So that's always a joke we have. I go, hey, man, you cost us both the NFL. It's your fault. I always you guys can tell he's such a humble dude, so it's never that.
Very true.
And then in regards to the pro career, like I always think about that. Like Coach O was a mastermind because he's always told me when he met me in 2007, when they came down for the All-Star game, he's like, oh, you playing for me at some point, because we always had that Chicago connection. But no, my pick, it was always, as it was in those times, I mean, it was Billings, it was Sioux Falls, and it was Omaha. Those were the three teams that were going to most likely either win that side. And if that side won, if you won that side, you basically won the championship. Back in the day, it was the West. The East, go up to Sioux Falls and give them a run, and they'd find a way in that janky-ass building they had.
Terrible damn end zone.
But that was the truth. And James knew that. I was like, dude, Omaha was built for me, because at that time, the only thing I really did to entertain myself was throw dice. So Omaha, they had the casino right there. So, I mean, I was good. I'd have been in there. James would be like, dude, you'll get your ass out this casino. So that was one. And then this is what I would say, Chris, in addition to, James, we look back on those times. We lost 4 games in those 2 years we played together. And
that's crazy.
You guys gave us 2 of those losses.
Yeah.
It was you guys. Sioux Falls gave us 1, and then Fairbanks just fluked up, beat us. We just did not come to play. I mean, Coach O was not having it after that game. The only time I ever seen him mad was after that Fairbanks game. Like, he wasn't even and he did a good job always keeping that in, but I don't know, man. It was a combination of them cowbells. It was a combination of them beef girls. Let's call it what it is. That's really why we never played well. You guys were very talented offensively and defensively. You guys had good players on both sides. You know what I mean? Like, the West was just tough when you had to deal with Sioux Falls and us. And then you guys are right there in the mix, winning 10, 11 games too. But it was them. It was y'all's cheerleaders, and then your little ball girls. Then you had the cowbells rolling, and dinking and linking around. And Omaha's a dope little town, man. Like Omaha's a city.
Boy.
Like it's not a town. Like it was the perfect mixture for the characters that we played with.
Yeah.
To come in there and be like, we gonna be all right and treat this like every other road game we had that year. You guys were the only team we lost to in 2009. Like, and that in itself deserves the credit that it is. Like, we were always more excited to, or matched up better with Sioux Falls, even on the road with them in 09. We knew that. You guys were a matchup problem because we played you guys full strength the second time and you still beat us.
Yep.
And Coach O, that was the other time he got hot. I take it back. That's the first time he got hot that year because the way we lost, I think that might have been the only game I think I dropped the ball on third down in that game. It might have been the only time in my career in Billings I dropped the ball on third down.
And I think that was the same game that OJ ate too.
So, yeah. You good, man. When you guys had us, I think we lost by 4, and Coach O said, I remember he said, if you think, because we had earned the bye anyway, he said, if any of y'all think y'all going home on this bye week, go home.
Don't come back. Huh?
Hey, he said, you go, do not come back. Everybody stayed their ass right in Billings, and we went to work. So that was, that's a credit to you, man. And I just, you're revered, man. And we, from time to time, we talk about, the guys here in Miss. We had Chris really come on, one of the pioneer Hall of Famers in that league. And it's guys like you that won't get the opportunity to get that type of recognition. You've already gotten it from Concordia as you deserve it there, and everything, the magic you did there for 4 years. But we know for a fact that you're first ballot Hall of Famer.
That's a fact.
In the IFL. And, you're a big part of, in my opinion, a lot of us that built that league that don't really get the mention, which is okay with me. It honestly is okay with me now to this point. Because you go, but it's like.
I'm still bitter.
So I just want to take some time, man, before we got into really getting into this, man. Just there's a reason why you're on this show. And it's because of what your name says down there. You are the Matrix, man. You're one of my favorite players I ever played against. And damn it, we'll just be on all-star fantasy teams together in our minds, man.
Hey, I know that's the truth. I know we always talked about it. I remember our the conversations we've had. So yeah. It's all love. I appreciate you.
We'll be right